Hello, my name is Jeff, and today we're going to talk about developing components within your PowerApps. This is a great way, and we're going to talk about a menuing system. This is a great way to transfer this menu onto multiple screens within your app to keep that consistency and be able to update items within that menu quick and easy. Maybe you change the name of something, or you want to change colors, or you want to move this app to somebody else and they want different colors and different names. So stay tuned. It does get a little complicated, but I've kind of broken it down on the left side of the screen there of exactly what steps you need to take to come out with this final result. So stay tuned. We're going to jump right to this. All right. So what are we doing here? This is an example of the screen itself. And notice here, you click on the waffle menu. It's good. You click on, I don't know, invoice. Notice the blue line moves over, follows it along, right? So pretty simple. There's nothing on the screens right now. I'm just showing this to show how to set this up. Also notice that the screen changes every single time that you move. So we're going to walk through kind of how to set this up step by step. So the first thing, this is part of a bigger book that I have that talks about creating this application called Priority Manager. But we're going to just focus on the setting up of this component right now and what that looks like inside of the environment. So remember, components are right here on the right hand side of the screen, right next to screens, under the tree view, and you can kind of see it right there. And then you have your properties of those components over here as well. So let's go ahead and just start at the beginning. We've gone there. We're going to go ahead and create a new component, and just to do that, you click on create a new component and give it a name. Okay, it's pretty simple to do. Just name it, right? So not very tough there. Then we're going to, so then let's go ahead and look down here. We're going to, first of all, we're going to give it a name, right? And we're going to give it a width. Notice that it's not the full size of the page, because remember when you're using a screen, let me go ahead and get a little bigger. When you're using a menu screen, whether it's horizontal or vertical, the space behind it, if you have forms and things like that you're using on the screen, when this menu is down, you're not going to be able to select those items. So for example, if you had a big menu over here and it's taking up a quarter of your screen and you're using a form for people to fill in, when that menu's up, they're not going to be able to use those cells that are being covered by the menu. So you just want to be aware of that. And here in the component, you can see it's only 65 inches in height. And during this video, it's assumed that you know a little bit about working with Canvas. If this is the first time you've worked with Canvas, you should be able to follow the step-by-step instructions to get this, but you're going to need to know some simple things like where these custom properties are, where advanced is, things like that. Okay, so anyway, so we've created this and we've created it to the height that I want, which is very small. I just want, as you can see here, on the screen, I just want it to right there. I don't want it any further than that because my menu just goes across. Okay, so that's first step. Second thing is that we're going to need to create a gallery. So let's go ahead and, before we go into the gallery, let's go ahead and create some custom properties. Now these custom properties are going to define kind of what the menu looks like. Okay, so you can see here in the custom properties, you have menu items, expand, etc., right? One's a table, one's a yes, no, and the rest are colors. And I show here in the rest of this is the waffle menu. So I'm selected on the waffle menu in components. I'm selected right here on waffle menu. Okay, component, waffle menu. And then you see them right here? So those are all the items that we're talking about here. And if you look at these, you see this right here, menu items. I think this is the one I have up. But nevertheless, you fill in whatever the display name is that you want for your custom component. And then you put in the property type and the data type. And you can see that here. And you can put in number 4 as well. So I'm going to walk you through each one of the screens that I have set up. The first one is menu items, and again, right here is menu items. This is the actual content. So see how I clicked here? It's going to show me what those menu items are. Now, we're just setting up the custom properties. We're going to come back and set these up in a minute, but just as an awareness. So I set up menu items, expand memory. Notice here, this is a yes/no question, and we're going to raise on reset when the value changes. So it's going to flip it back and forth for us. That's the expand menu there. Now we're going to do the colors. Now the colors, notice they're all the same. So if I look at one, it says menu color, menu text color, menu icon, menu size. They're all the same, and they're all set the same. And we're going to use 4 of them because we're going to set the colors differently later. So you just want to create 4 of them basically and follow this key right here. So these 4 right here. Okay. Now we're going to feed the information into each one of them. So here we're going to, again, we're back at the waffle menu. Make sure you go back there, and we're at the waffle menu with the menu items. So we're going to click on here and see menu items. See menu items. So these properties here, if you've never done this before, these properties here you can create and delete to meet the needs of the application. And in this case, we're pulling up menu items. Now I've put the code in here, but this is really the code that you need right here. And let me show it to you here on the screen. Notice here that I'm going through multiple menus here. Main menu, app active screen, so and this is important. The screen navigate says app.active screen because it's when we set it up on the screen, we're going to do this in a minute. We're going to set the navigation up per screen. Okay, so just keep it in like you see it here. Continue to create the table, right? Open parenthesis, open squiggly, and then you get down to the bottom, close squiggly, close parenthesis. Make sure you close it all up, and then just put this in. Now, here I've defined the icons. So you can define what the icon looks like just by double clicking in here. And if I take that out, for example, put icon home, notice how home comes up, boom, okay? And you can see what those icons, so you can see them all right here. So let's say you wanted to change one. I can go up here. If I go to insert and icons, you can kind of see what they're called right here. Okay, so there's compose, for example, draw, edit. So those are the names that you're using inside of here. Okay, so those are all the icons. And then, so there's the code for that. So we need to set that up. Okay, now we're going to go to the expand menu right there. We're going to set the default to false. For the menu colors, let's go ahead. This is the menu color. We're going to set that to orange, red. And all we're doing is just typing in that value here. So if it's set to nothing, we can say orange, red, and it'll pop up. Okay, and we can set that there. Now you can also use the hex number for this, not the hex number, the RGB number for this as well if you want to. Let me show you another one that's not done here. Well, I'll show you in a minute, but it's an RGB number that you see whenever you look at colors within PowerApps. So you want to reset all of the colors to the colors that you want. So if you look here, menu color, menu icon color, menu items. Let me see if I have more colors. Menu text, cornflower blue. Okay, so you just want to set all those colors. You can see it right there. Okay. Next thing we want to do is go ahead and set up the gallery. So this is going to be a gallery right here, and we're going to do an insert. If you just search for gallery, we want a vertical blank gallery. So we're just going to set that up. And when we get in there, we're going to set the items property for the gallery, as you can see right here, to waffle menu.menu items. Now, why waffle menu and menu items? Waffle menu is the component name. Menu items is the property within it. So we're just calling that from the gallery where our items are. Pretty simple, okay? And then here are all of the properties. Now, for the rest of these screens, I'm going to go through them slowly, but you can pause the video to make sure you catch up with everything. Okay, so you need to set all of these settings for all of these, and we're going to go through each one individually. Okay, so let's start with the gallery here. When you click on gallery inside your canvas and you go over here to advanced, you can see all these settings. Notice items, waffle menu, right? And I can adjust these as well inside of here. Notice my wrap count is 8. My selectable is true, which looks like, I think it's a default. And then the width is parent width. Now, if you can't see the property, just search for it, width. So I've highlighted right here what the setting is and what the setting should be in here. So that's the first one in the gallery. The second one we want to set up is the waffle icon. And you can see it right there, waffle icon. So you can see the icon. And the reason why we pop out of the gallery is because we're going to do a show menu. So kind of break it up. But see here, this is what we need to set. On select and visible. So if I don't know where visible is, again, I just search for visible. There it is, right? And on select is right there at the top. So that's the same thing that's appearing right here. Okay, easy peasy. All right, next thing I want to do is I'm going to flip back to the settings for the gallery. It looks like I put that in there repetitively. So just make sure that it's all set right. So here, for example, visible is now show menu, where I think when we showed visible up here, we didn't show it. But anyways, double check your settings here. Make sure they're all right. All right. Button transparent, we're going to set this guy in. Now what this is a transparent button, and you can kind of see it right there on your screen. It's going over all of the gallery. Now you can't see the components in the gallery, the label or the menu. Let's focus in on this a little bit. But if you look here, this is the whole stretch of the gallery. Let's look at this real quick. I'm just going to briefly turn this gallery here. What do we set to? Visible. Okay. So here's our main gallery, and I keep choosing the wrong one. Visible right here for the gallery. Well, we want to set that to true. I was like, why isn't that stuff showing up? Okay. So you see here, if we click on the gallery and we click on this guy, notice this is the full length of the gallery. If you look at button and then you have these components in there, you have the menu, you have the icon, and you have the left image. And here, this transparent, notice the hooks right there, the handles, they're over the entire area, okay? So here, we want to change this back to show menu, okay? And because that's what it says on our gallery setup right here, show menu. But so just set this to what it is here. So let's look at this. Again, navigate right there. You can just copy and paste this. Well, you can't copy and paste this. You're going to have to type that in. But this is what we're doing. Self-fill. So you just want to check all of those. And notice there that all of those colors, like hover, for example, transparent, transparent. Okay. Next thing we want to do, and we explain that in more detail right here, what I just explained. Okay. Next item is label menu. So in the label menu, that's this one right here in the main menu, right? You can see it better there, but here it is right here. And there are the settings right there. Okay. So we're pointing this back to the menu, this item menu label, and we're getting its color from the waffle menu. Okay. So this item meaning from the gallery there, and meaning the gallery comes from the menu items inside of the waffle menu. And then we're setting that to true. Here, the next one on menu, this is the icon itself. You can put any icon in here to begin with, but this is the code for the icon itself. So that's what we're talking about. Here it is right here. Again, we're pointing to the waffle menu for the color, and this item icon back at the waffle menu itself where the menu items are coming from. And remember, we're calling it from icon. I know that can be confusing, so let's look at that one more time. Okay, so if we go here to menu items, notice here that we say menu label icon screen navigate. Okay, Notice that we're saying those words right here inside this table, inside the waffle menu. Notice here that we're calling this item dot icon. Okay? So if you look up here, this item dot menu label. Okay, do you see how that's kind of all working out? So when we call this item, this gallery is underneath this waffle menu, which calls this table. Okay, so just kind of wanted to clear that up. I know it can be confusing sometimes. So let's go ahead and scroll back down here. So set this all up right here. Left rectangle. Sorry, we're just on this one. So set all this up right here. This is for the icon menu. Then go here and set up your left triangle. And your left triangle, you can see the settings there for the left triangle. And that triangle, that icon, that rectangle, see when you click on here, see how it moves to archive or main menu. See how the blue thing moves? That's what we're doing there. Okay, so set that up right there. We'll go back to the component. That's what that does. Okay. We've already talked about the waffle icon on how to set that up. Key here, we want to set that up. Remember, set show menu, right? And so we're going to call that show menu there. So just copy the code there. The name of the application is there, and the banner is there. So we kind of cruise through here. Okay, so we've gone ahead and double checked here. We've kind of just done a few double checks. You can read the document or pause the video and read the document. So now let's set up, we want to make sure that we have the right stuff inside of the screens themselves. So we're setting this up as a menu option, right? I call it the waffle menu, and it's going to be populated in all of these screens. And notice that we have a different screen here, right here, label screen, main menu, label screen, archive. But I'm using this main pop-down screen here and this waffle, I'm using that. That's right here. Okay? And I did that on purpose because this data here is fluid. This data here is going to be consistent for every single one of my screens. So that's why I set it up that way. So here, we're going to need to take, when we set up this waffle menu here, all of this data here for navigation, this is good within the component, but we're going to need to transfer that information into the screens where the screens are. So the best way to do that is here within your onStart property. Now notice here, we have several things in this app, but here's where we're going to focus. This is the table and the menus. You see it? Main menu, archive. So we basically copied, we did a clear collect here. I called it temp. And then we copied that table information straight from the component, right? We copied it directly into here. And then notice here that I've called, right here, I'm calling these screen names right here. Okay, 60, invoice, planner, etc. Productivity plus. So you can see that I'm creating that. So, and then when you get done setting that up, do a run on start. Okay, so what that does for us, and I think that's it. There's the code. If you get the book, there's the code, then a run on start. And that's all I have to say about this. But that is how you set up a screen. Now, I apologize. I know it was pretty fast as we went through this, but I hope the documentation on this side of the screen will be helpful for you. So I'm going to, right now, just in summary, for those of you that stayed on to the last, I'm going to go ahead and expand this up a little bit and go through those screens one at a time again so you can see them, and pause the video if you want. And I promise this book is available. You can buy this book on how to do this with all these screenshots, but on Barnes & Noble, just look for my name. But here, I'm just going to go through it so you can do this for free as well. So just take a copy. This is the draft version. I haven't wordsmithed this, so you'll have to just be patient with some of that. But here, that's the first screen. So you're going to set up this. Okay, then 24. You're going to set up that. 25. Okay. That screen. Again, do a screen print, capture these screens. Here are the screenshots for the custom properties. There's one, there's the other. Here's the screenshot for the colors. Remember, you're going to do this 4 times. Okay. And then here, the waffle. Here's the beginning of the table for the menu items. Notice here we have the code. So you're basically just going to do this one once and then copy it. And this is just the code I used. Okay. We're going to set the expand menu to false. We're going to set the menu colors, and you set them to whatever you want them to be. Okay. And we talked about that in the video. Here are the items we're going to set up for the gallery. So we're going to set up a gallery. We're going to set those items up, and then we're going to do this. Remember, this wrap count is what makes the vertical menu go across the screen, but there are the properties for that. What are we doing here? We're setting up the waffle icon. Remember, the waffle icon is the, I don't have a picture of it. It's a waffle icon in the upper left-hand corner. So that's what we're going to set up for that. Here are the components again for the gallery. I'm not sure why I did that, but in case you missed it the first time, there they are. Components for the button, transparent button, and now we're walking through each one of these. So if you name these exactly like I have them named, this will work for you in your environment. There you go, right there. That's the waffle right there, by the way. Okay, and then we explain kind of these labels. There's their settings, label menu. This setting is for the icon. There's the settings for the icon. Here's the rectangle. Here's the setting for the rectangle. All right, we set up the names. Okay, we have to go back into the waffle menu and copy this data from the menu items, and then and to do that, I explain how to do that. You click here to get to these items, or you can click here to get to these items. Okay, and then here we're going to do this on start. We're going to create this collection here, and there's the collection data. Remember, that's the same thing as your menu items. You're going to do a run on start, and then here is the setup for the waffle menu inside of the screen. Notice we're in the screen, not the component. And the waffle menu, notice here we've got the yellow and yellow. These are just your settings that you set up in the waffle menu itself under the component. You can change them if you want, but usually you don't. And then you're going to point this to the collection that you did up here, right? So this is the collection. So you set this collection up, and this is basically setting up your navigation. So you do your navigation there, okay? And then I think that's it. Yeah, that's it. So good luck. Hopefully this helps in a follow by follow and screen by screen shots. Take care.